Good morning everyone. Now in this video we will explain or discuss the whole respiratory tract, the structure inside the lungs. As I already discussed the parts up to here only. This is the epiglottis, thyroid gland, cricoid cartilage, trachea. The trachea divided into two bronchi that we call primary bronchus. The single is bronchus and the plural is bronchi. And the primary bronchi are two. The right one enter into the right lung and the left one enter into the left lung. The primary bronchus in the right side is divided into three branches. And the left lung, the primary bronchi divided into two secondary bronchi. So the primary bronchi divided into three. So these are the secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi. And they are also the secondary bronchi. And the next one, the secondary bronchi divided into tertiary bronchi. These are the tertiary bronchi. In the right lung, they are the 10. These are the 3, these are 2, and in the left lung, the secondary bronchi are 8 in number. They are also covered by cartilaginous rings. The supportive C-shaped cartilaginous rings also covered the tertiary bronchi. The tertiary bronchi further divided into bronchioles. These are the bronchioles. They are the fine tube. The diameter is 1 millimeter and they are without the cartilaginous rings. They are not covered by cartilaginous ring. And the bronchioles further division is respiratory bronchioles. Respiratory bronchioles. Then respiratory bronchioles further divided into terminal bronchioles. They are further divided into here the this one the terminal bronchiole, then terminal bronchiole. This one the terminal. Tertiary bronchi divided into bronchioles, bronchioles into terminal bronchioles, and the terminal bronchioles further divided into respiratory bronchioles. Respiratory bronchioles. And the respiratory bronchioles further divided into alveolar. In previous video, we have discussed the respiratory or conducting zone. The conducting zone, the trachea, primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, bronchioles, terminal bronchioles, respiratory bronchioles, then alveolar duct, then alveolar sac, and the one part of the alveolar sac is alveolus. So I have drawn the one diagram, diagram of one alveolus. The alveolar duct, around the alveolar duct, this is the alveolar duct. Around the alveolar duct, the numerous alveolus are there. The alveolus is a cup-shaped structure. It is a cup-shaped structure lined by the cells are showing here. The black cells are showing here. The lined by the squamous epithelium. The single layer of squamous epithelium. Epithelium. So the alveolus is lined by the simple squamous epithelium and is also the surrounded by the blood vessels, the richly supplied with blood in the alveoli. So this is the blood capillary that surround the alveoli. And the blood capillary, the red cells are also, it is also made up of single layer of squamous epithelium. Simple squamous epithelium or epithelial cells. The dotted one that I make in the diagram, it is the lecithin. It is the lecithin in the inner wall of the alveolus. The deposition of or the layer of lecithin is there. The lecithin acts as a surfactant. Surfactant act as a surfactant, and the surfactant means the lecithin prevent the collapse of the alveolus. Prevent collapsing of alveolus. It keeps the alveolus in an expanded condition. So this is the blood capillary, this is the alveolar wall, this is the lecithin, and the duct is alveolar duct. These membrane include the base, number one, the alveolar membrane plus capillary wall plus, as we know, the epithelial cells. The epithelial cells has the basement membrane. They deposit on, they set up upon, they have the basal membrane. So, for example, these are the basal membrane, the epithelial cells lined over the basement membrane. So, the basal membrane, alveolar wall, capillary wall, and the basement membrane, and the fluid, that is interstitial fluid. The interstitial fluid that is found between the cells plus interstitial fluid. So all the four structure, all these structure, alveolar membrane, capillary wall, basal membrane, and interstitial fluid, all membrane form the, this is the respiratory membrane. Respiratory membrane. It is not the single membrane. It is a combination of alveolar membrane, capillary wall, basal membrane, and interstitial fluid. Now we discuss the inhalation or exhalation or the functioning of diaphragm. Now in this video we will discuss the process of inspiration and expiration. The inspiration also called the inhalation and the exhalation. The diaphragm and the ribs. The diaphragm that we discussed already is the dome-shaped structure made up of skeletal muscles separate thorax from abdomen. So this is a natural position. It is a normal position. It is remain the dome shape, and here the ribs are there, and it is a circular plate-like, disc-like structure that remain in the dome shape. So this is the normal position or relaxed condition. When the inhalation is there, it becomes flat, How it become flat? The muscles from the ribs to the diaphragm. The peripheral wall of the diaphragm has the muscles. That muscles are attached to the ribs. So when these muscles contract, the diaphragm become flat. So these muscles are phrenic muscles or called radial muscles. They help in the contraction and the relaxation of the diaphragm. Now we discuss the process of inhalation and exhalation, or the events or the process take place during the inhalation and exhalation. In the inspiration or the inhalation, the diaphragm contract. Diaphragm contract means become flat due to the phrenic muscles. The phrenic muscles that help in the contraction and relaxation of the diaphragm. And here the diaphragm relax means it become a dome shape. Next one, the rib and sternum. Ribs and sternum. The front bone in the rib cage is sternum, that come out or move out and upward. When the inhalation is there, it become outward or upward. In the expiration, the ribs and sternum become inward and downward. So when the diaphragm relax, ribs come outside, the size of thoracic cavity increases lengthwise. The shape is like this. When it become flat, the size of chest cavity is increasing. So the next one, the volume of thoracic cavity increases. Here the thoracic cavity volume is decreases due to the inward and downward movement of the ribs. The next one is when these are the ribs. For example, these are the ribs. Between the ribs, the intercostal muscles are present. These intercostal muscles are 11 pairs. The ribs are 12 pairs, but the intercostal muscles are 11 pairs. So the external intercostal muscles contract. There are 11 pairs found between the ribs. Here they are relaxed. Next, when the size of thoracic cavity increases, the atmospheric pressure low. Here the upward, the diaphragm upward and the thoracic cavity inward, the size decrease. Or the pressure is low, here the pressure is high. And the next pressure inside low and the near about 762. So the inhalation is there. The air we know always move from the high pressure to low pressure. So the movement of air, inward, air outward means diffusion of the air outside. So these are the events that take place during the inspiration and in the expiration. The diaphragm contract become flat ribs and sternum come out and upward. The volume of thoracic cavity increases. The external intercostal muscles contract. The atmospheric pressure inside the rib cage in the thoracic cavity actually the low. The movement of the air from outside to inside means inspiration. So as we discussed, the inspiration is a active process. It is a active process means the muscles contraction is there. But the expiration is a passive process. Here the energy is needed. Energy is needed for the contraction of muscles. Here no use of energy, so we call the expiration is a passive process. Now we discuss the respiratory capacities of the lungs.